Now the people come to the Chazon Ish, the super holy legend Chazon Ish, perhaps one of the biggest rabbis lived ever in the last 1,000 years. And they say to him, there is a great person, meaning he knows a lot of Torah, he's probably an important rabbi. But sometimes he's not selfish, egoistic. Meaning he's looking for his personal interest in this case. I'll give you an example. I had a case like this. I have a friend today, Baruch Hashem. He became a famous speaker in Israel. We were together in yeshiva many years ago. One time he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave the yeshiva and move to Israel, to yeshiva in Israel. Spoke to the rabbi in charge of the yeshiva back then, and he told them, I decided to move on. I'm going to make aliyah. I'm going to this very good yeshiva, and over there I'm going to be a big rabbi one day. I want to upgrade myself. Immediately he started to attack him. Who told you it's good for you? Why didn't you ask me before? It's not the time yet. You have to stay at least 1 more year, maybe 2. You're not ready yet. Why was he telling him that? He was super ready. Super ready. Why did he tell him not to go? Because he was teaching a group of Baalei Tshuva and was saving him $2,000 a month that he has to pay a stranger rabbi to bring someone from the outside and pay him a salary. Now one of the people who was in yeshiva is teaching them 2 hours a day, voluntarily, saving him money. So when he gave him that advice, for some people that would be the right advice. Maybe they're not ready. Israel has a lot of traps, has difficulties, family, secular neighbors, back to the old days of yours. You know, it's not good to come back to the place of your crimes. So they said, stay in yeshiva here in America another year or 2 until you become solid, then you move. But for that particular person, it was not a good advice. It was an advice for himself. Stay here that I can save another $20,000-$30,000. That's called nagua badavar. He cannot give you an objective answer. So they came to the Chazon Ish and they talked about someone that makes his personal interest every once in a while, not all the time. Once in a while, once a week, once a month, whatever it was. Listen to the answer of the Chazon Ish. Amar Chazon Ish, im kach, if that's the case, hu adam katan. If that's the case, hu adam katan. It's not a great person. He's a tiny person. Why? לא ייתכן שאדם גדול לא ישתלט על הנגיעות שלו. A great person, it's impossible that even one time, he won't be able to control his personal interests, push it away, and put God's interests before. Let's just give you a little bit idea. This probably was 50, 60 years ago, when Chazon Ish was alive. That today almost no one is a great person, because everyone has personal interest. That means this generation probably have not that many people left, that they are 100% for Hashem and only Hashem, I care only about Hashem, I'm nothing. Yesterday in my speech in Queens, I spoke about half an hour just on Yosef. Where was he when he was in jail? And where was he when he became the controller of Egypt? All the money in his hands. He did not have one tiny moment of pride. And there is a chapter in Tehillim about it. Like David HaMelech say, when I was suspected to be mamzer, illegitimate boy, that my family pushed me away, don't come around, you're embarrassing us, take the sheep and go up to the mountain, nobody wants to be with me, I'm alone in my world, people talk behind my back, I was a nobody. In 1 minute I became the king of the world. The great Samuel, the prophet, came, put oil on my head. The oil jumped from the horn. He used to use horn, like the shofar that we have. The shofar that you see, it's after they drill inside and opened it up. Originally it was all full, like a horn of the ram. Once they drill inside, they make the hole, and then it becomes bigger and bigger, and then you're able to blow it. The original shofar that they used to use to spill oil on the head of the king when they nominate him, the bottom where the shofar is open, the white, it was closed. It was like a bottle. You only have on the top a hole that you can spill the oil, using it like a bottle. So this shemen hamishcha, limshoach, means like the word Mashiach, meaning nominate someone to be a messenger of Hashem for this particular mission, like a king, like the Messiah, Kohen. So what happened over here? When he wanted to spill it on every one of the 6 brothers, thinking maybe this is the king, he's the king, the oil did not spill. Gravity forced the oil to fall down. It did not come out. He was surprised. Don't you have another son? No, it cannot be him. For sure it's not him. It's one of these. Ishai, the biggest tzaddik in the world. Ishai never committed one sin in his entire life. One of 4 men in the history of the world who never committed one sin in his entire life. Gemara highlight his name. Now one sin in all his life. They ask him, do you have another son? Kvod Harav, Shmuel. It cannot be him. Let's not talk Lashon Hara. I can't tell you everything, but trust me, it cannot be him. Shmuel said, I'm sorry. I was sure it's one of these handsome tall men. Oh, look, tzaddik, righteous. The oil doesn't come out. It has to be him. I'm telling you, it cannot be. Isha is petrified. Imagine this boy that I suspected that is a mamzer, that is not my son, that the wife cheated and went with someone else. There was a whole story. Imagine he will become the king of the world. That makes me a nobody. I'm the biggest chacham in the world, and I throw him out. Hide, don't come around. You're embarrassing us. And in the end, he's better than me. It was, in one hand, who doesn't want his son to be the king? But when it will bring you so much shame, you're not so sure. I rather a different son. When David entered the room, they sent to call him. The oil flew to his head. He didn't have to turn the bottle upside down. Like this. Shocked. Like a magnet. Right away fell on his head. And David writes in Tehillim, you are my witness that the same way I was isolated there in the mountain feeling I'm nothing, after I became the king, that was my entire feeling every minute of my life. I never thought, hey, now it's time for revenge. You, remember how you used to insult me and abuse me? Come, let's take care of you. Payback. No such thing. I'm still a nobody. Same thing Yosef that control all the money in the world, I'm nothing. Shmuel, I'm nothing. Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm nothing. Aaron HaKohen, I'm nothing. Avraham Avinu, I'm dust. Pay attention. The greatest people in the history of the world that we read about them in the Tanakh, their number 1 good trait is humility. Another. That's what made them a legend. Any proud person, the Torah describes eventually as a monster, Achitophel. He knew Torah more than David HaMelech. He was his rabbi supposedly. What was his end? Committed suicide. Doeg HaEdomi, all the Torah he knew. Rasha Merusha. Yerovam ben Navat. Every subject in the Torah, I can give you 127 speeches about it. Different speeches. Complete, huge, giant Chacham. Has no share to the world to come. Gehazi, big, garbage, no share to the world to come. What's going on over here? As far as talent, some of these wicked had more talent than the righteous, and they knew Torah just as much or more. And what happened in the Talmud? The Talmud concludes that they have no share to the world to come. What got them to lose their share to the world to come? Their ego. Pride and ego. Pride and ego. That's what destroyed most people today. Pride and ego.